I'm still kind of reeling from all the game demos I tried out during Summer Game Fest this year, and I've been thinking about several to the point of obsessively checking when their release dates are. Let's dive into 5 of my most anticipated indie gems for the rest of this year. Number 5, I Am Your Beast. I believe one of the most creative indie writers out there is Lavier Nelson Jr., who heralds himself, rightfully so, as the creative director and writer for a weird sustainable game studio known as Strange Scaffold. They've put out games like El Paso Elsewhere, Witch Stranding, Space Warlord Organ Trading Simulator, and Clickholding, which recently went semi-viral. Those are only a few of the incredible games they've put out, and their newest upcoming title, I Am Your Beast, fits within the rest of these wildly diverse ideas. Now, while at its core, I Am Your Beast is just a fast-paced FPS where you're racing against the clock through each map to wipe out enemies in a real John Wick-esque fashion, the presentation of the game itself and the narrative are really where you can see the proof in the pudding, and remain the reasons as to why I think Nelson is so good at his craft. I Am Your Beast is going to resonate with fans of stuff like Hitman or Metal Gear Solid, and it comes out this week, so it's worth a look-see at very least. Number 4, Fumes. Take Mad Max, add a twist of retro FPS, a sprinkle of Twisted Metal, and a dash of Dark Souls, and you get Fumes, a post-apocalyptic romp through an endless wasteland where you just roll around, fight enemies, upgrade your car, and do more of that on a loop to your heart's content. At least, that's what I did in the demo. The story in the full could be more upfront, but what the demo had to offer was a shitload of high-octane dithered fun. All the cars are highly customizable, the driving physics feel like your favorite old-school rally game without the pain of old controls and systems, and between enemies, jobs, and bosses, you'll have a hard time not finding some fun to be had. Fumes doesn't seem to have a release date yet, but the demo is still live as of the recording of this, so what are you waiting for? Number 3, The Altars. Now, The Altars really surprised me in multiple ways. What I think I was expecting initially was another atmospheric sci-fi game where you're trawling the surface of an alien planet for resources, only to be met with some kind of tense roadblock, whether that be human or alien. What I ended up getting from The Altars was one of the most thought-provoking experiences I've had in a game in a while, and it was only a demo. A long demo, but one worth checking out to say the least. Thought-provoking should have been expected when coming from the creators of This War of Mine, which, if you don't remember, is a heavy game about civilians trying to survive within a besieged, war-torn city. The Altars has you playing as a guy named Jan Dolsky, who crash lands on a planet with seemingly no way to survive. In the face of adversity, Jan eventually finds himself having to turn toward a resource on the planet that allows him to create alternative versions of himself to assist in getting the mobile base fully functional and, with hopes, rescued from damnation. I don't really want to get too far into the story of what's going on with the Altars because that's the thing that I found to be most surprising, and it kept me engaged and wanting more through the entire run of that demo. Needless to say, the game brings up a lot of philosophical questions and makes you face some pretty mind-fucking options, which is why I made it number 3 on my list. No release date as of yet, but that demo is still available. Number 2, Rekka. I have this long-standing desire of wanting to be a witch in the woods, wearing flowy dresses and drinking mushroom coffee and doing whatever weird apothecary witch things that one does in that situation. This wasn't necessarily something that I knew that I had in me until the last few years, and it's likely something that Stevie Nicks awoke within many young girls over the course of, decades. Needless to say, Rekka allows me to live out that fantasy as a young girl who is more or less dissecting the legend of Baba Yaga and possibly becoming her progeny, as part of the game's central quest, which involves you creating a giant mobile hut with chicken legs. This game was brought up to me a year or two ago after I played another Baba Yaga game called Blacktail, and I've been quietly waiting for its release, like heavy-breathing cat. The demo was extremely cozy and extremely my thing, and it looks as though the game's release date is set at September 12th, so I'll be quietly twiddling my thumbs and waiting for that. Number 1, Mirthwood. My favorite game of the lot of demos I played during Steam Next Fest was kind of a hard one to choose because there were a lot of really good ones. But I was definitely very taken aback by the Fable meets Stardew Valley sandbox RPG Mirwood, which has an enchanting storybook art style and quest narrative to match. Starting out in a village under strife, you quickly escape to start your new life's journey in the lands abroad, and from there the whole game is basically a choose-your-own adventure. The game offers farming, homestead building, questing galore, a really keen class and upgrade system, and so many things that I just can't really wait to dive into. I'm a sucker for medieval fantasy games, so this was a natural win for me. It reminded me of another witchy game that I fell for really hard named Witchwood. Now, September 11th appears to be the release date for Mirwood, which means that September's actually kind of shaping up to be a really great month for me and indie games. What are some of your favorite up-and-coming game demos? Let me know in the comments.